The other day, I posted a video that covered a topic that I was quite interested about. And it was my first video making unscripted commentaries of my experiences through life and just my general thoughts and opinions on certain things. And I mentioned in that video that a lot of the videos that I have posted in the past are often scripted, and this video is not scripted. Despite running a YouTube channel and have done public speaking before, just being in front of a crowd, an audience, I find it very difficult to articulate the kind of words that I'm looking for to, I guess, make a point, get out what I'm trying to say to people. So this video may seem a bit cluttered, a bit nonsensical. But I wanted to talk about loneliness, which is, it's not something easy to really talk about, right? It's something that I believe all people like have in common to some degree, maybe some more than others, but it's something that intrigues me. Now, to anyone who I know in real life who is watching this, I don't want you to see this video as some sort of cry for help, right? Like this can be a very alarming title. Like you probably clicked on this, like, oh, he's going through some shit. Like maybe I should check up on him, which is cool. I understand. That's honestly, if anyone did that, I would really appreciate it. But that, like I said, that's not what this video is about. It's not a cry for help. I want to explore kind of what loneliness is, because I feel like it's a very hard thing to, grasp and understand, because the kind of, essence of loneliness is that it's just you, right? There's no one around to give second opinions on your own solitude, right? It's kind of only down to you, and you're the only person that can, I guess, comprehend it, like to each their own almost. The reason I want to talk about it is not it loneliness. It doesn't, it bothers me and it doesn't bother me. Like when I'm at work or when I go to school or I hang out with friends, I go to a party or whatever. Loneliness is, it's kind of always there. And I don't know about you guys, but some may look at this like, why would you feel lonely if you're surrounded by so many people? If you're going to work, you have an internship, a job or whatever that, provides lots of like friendly people. Even just, having so many connections, knowing lots of people. I feel very lucky to have met all the people that I've met, good or bad, right? I say good or bad. My experience, good or bad, with them, I should say. But oftentimes I find myself with those quote unquote good or bad people. Um, I can sometimes feel lonelier with them rather than with myself. And that might sound either very relatable or very strange to you. Again, I'm not sure. I don't know my audience, but it's something that's very hard to come to terms with. Something that's very difficult to accept. I feel like humans, whether we like to admit it or not, they all feel this need to like be seen, They want to meet someone that understands them to the core, but then you remind yourself that if that's even possible, technically you are the only person that knows you the best, right? And all you can do is find someone who just appreciates you and likes you for the person that you are. And talk about liking you for the person you are. Subconsciously, whether we choose to admit it, I mean, I always try to come across as like as real as possible to people. I don't like to fake my personality or just pretend. I just find it kind of like a waste of time. There's just no point to it. So sometimes I wonder, going through life, meeting people, seeing the same old people again. I had an interaction the other day, not going to mention who, but it just kind of, I hadn't seen them in a long time, and we bumped into each other on the street. and it was like a friendly interaction. It was kind of like, "Hey, how are you doing? Long time no see." All of that bullshit. Um, I don't say bullshit like it's bullshit. It's She was being kind, but it also just felt kind of forced, like a bit disingenuous. Like it didn't really feel like the things that she was saying she really meant. And maybe she did, that, but that's besides the point. When I talk about being down to earth and as real as I can be, I understand it's difficult, you know? I always, you know, hype myself up a bit, maybe have a bit too large of an ego, thinking that I'm like very real and down to earth, and I love to, I hate being fake around people, but then, I kind of mask my personality. I kind of not lie to people, but just I don't really like to reveal things about myself. If there's something's bothering me, I would often kind of rub it off and ignore it, right? So I think part of, you know, if you're feeling lonely, the kind of more, as obvious as it may sound, at least from my experience, the more I do that, the worse it feels, because even if it's difficult to talk to people about things that maybe they do or don't understand, or maybe you're shy to open up to people and really get them to know you, you're just gonna end up with like essentially no one to talk to, right? And I talk about ending up with essentially no one to talk to, and it, like, nobody wants that, right? I'm not, I wouldn't say I'm a person that kind of relies on someone that needs to like listen to me, right? I've always, it's like, it sounds kind of cringe. I've always described myself as kind of just a simpleton. I mean, it's like Kurt Cobain said, there's just kind of,
I know a lot of people who are simpletons, you know, they're very simple that they can enjoy their lives and be totally happy and secure with, just watching sports on television and having a beer every once in a while. And I'm not saying that I'm smarter than most people. It's just that I I'm too sensitive, and I wish sometimes I could just enjoy the simple things in life, you know.
I wish I was more like this. I could catch up on the football game or whatever and just enjoy things for how they are. Not worry about the complexities of this and that. I mean, that's like a very like stupid example, but as far as I know, like anyone that I can have a good time with, even if it's someone that I don't necessarily share a deep emotional connection with, is someone that I value deeply in my life, regardless of what kind of conversations I have with them. A lot of the time, I'm not really looking for some kind of to be seen, some deep emotional support. It's more like, I don't know, just the basic necessities of like a human, right? A social creature, to be able to like call up a friend and say, "Hey, let's chill out on this day whenever, whatever." It's like that kind of stuff I almost find is more important than someone who listens to whatever's on my mind, as strange as it may sound. And when I say this, I don't say like one is more important for the other. If anything, I would value both of them as equally important. I think you can't really just go through life. If something's bothering you, you can't. It'll ruin a good time, whether you like it or not. It'll be on your mind. And then again, if you're constantly just speaking to people about things that are wrong, it's almost like you're focusing too much on like the negatives, and even just going outside for like a walk or whatever would actually make you, it would trick your brain into making you feel better. Another thing I mentioned from the video that I posted before is balance. So having those two things would be ideal. But sadly, it's not always going to be that simple, right? That's not realistic. It's not the case, especially if you're a young adult like me. There's plenty of people around who are busy, they're focused on their own lives. Originally, I was going to title this video like "Nobody Cares About You." Not like nobody loves you or likes you, but more just like you can kind of be whichever person you want to be, whoever you want to be. And, no matter how cringe it is, or even just me posting this video, people see this as like, wow, like that's ballsy, or this guy's an idiot. Chances are in 2 weeks, they forget about it. So I think this video, in a sense, kind of helps me provide a genuine take on like a lot of the thoughts that kind of like consume me when I am alone. And I don't look at like loneliness as just a bad thing, right? I think a lot of good comes from it. Like there's a lot of reflection. If I'm going weeks or sometimes even months where I feel like I have no one to talk to, just like anyone else. I actually start doing things, sometimes unhealthy habits, but also healthy habits. Like I start working out more. Maybe I start posting these kind of videos more. I know it's a very minor example, but just there's a lot of productivity that comes with just being on your own, because being on your own comes with boredom. And a lot of people who are lonely and just kind of, there's the term of bed rotting, will just kind of lay there and just sit there and just, be all depressed. I can't say that I'm that kind of person, because although times do feel depressing at times, I will always try to, I guess, fill that gap of like, just like, if nothing's going on, if there's nothing eventful happening in my life, if it's just too much of a routine. I show up to class, I show up to work, nothing's really going on. I don't feel anything exciting, or there's nothing fun happening, just to kind of relax, just to kind of lay off the hard work that I'll be putting in day to day. I'll find something of my own to kind of relieve that stress. I feel like if anyone who's watching the video, I think and everyone can relate to that. On the topic of dealing with loneliness is weird. It's not, I would say it's more of like a bad thing. Obviously, you want to surround yourself with people who love you, you want to talk to people who care about you, you want to have just a friend group, a solid friend group that you can just talk to and hang out with on the weekend. It's not as simple, like I said, but in the meantime, it's just kind of, I've gone through a lot of friend groups. I've been to a lot of schools. Like I said at the start of the video, I've been lucky enough to meet a lot of people and have had a lot of experiences. I've made a lot of mistakes. I've done a lot of fuck ups. I've done a lot of good too. I think the important thing I remind myself that kind of keeps me going out of these like states of like, and it's constant, right? It's not just today, it's years. Even when I've been on the surface, the least lonely I may have seen, my fucking 18th birthday, where I had, dozens and dozens of people around me, all these friends and stuff. Not saying they don't matter, but you gotta constantly just not keep yourself distracted, but improve on yourself, keep thinking and doing things that you love. I think that's a very important one. Like, simple as it may sound, doing the things that are hard work, but will pay off because it's what I love doing. And if anything, I find that to be the best cure of loneliness than anyone will provide you. And you keep doing it, you keep meeting people. If you're lucky, you'll find someone that you really connect with, you really click with. And I think that's another thing of a part of life that, people change. Not change for the better, for the worse, but just people grow out of each other. And that's another thing that's very difficult to accept. It's kind of just part of life, right? So as long as you just keep yourself busy, again, not distracted, not busy like I have to do this, but I want to do this. I get to do this. It's something that I enjoy doing. Get rid of that kind of doing nothing or like staring at a wall for 8 hours. I mean, I know I've been there. I find this to be the most exhilarating, the most exciting thing that you can do, even when times are stressful in doing those things. Like I said with the other video, maybe I'm completely delusional in what I'm saying. But if there's any message that you can take from this video, it's just really, really try to like look deeply into yourself. What do you actually love doing? What do you want to do? And how can you find the people who want to do the same things as you? If you accomplish that, I can almost guarantee that you will lead a life that feels less lonely. Thank you for watching.